All right, Lee, go ahead and tee this one up.
Hey guys, welcome to Whiskey, Lead, and Steel. Feelings Hurt, Why You Wait? The official podcast of Aggressive Defensive Solutions. And spoiler alert, your feelings might get hurt if you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
With me today, Jeremy Phillips, and of course, Rick. Just Rick.
Just Rick.
And I'm Lee Curran.
Future governor of the Kelvin and Solomon Commonwealth of Virginia.
And the handler of this great podcast.
That's right. He is all the adult supervision we have.
So Jeremy, what are we talking about today?
I don't know what you want to title it. Safe distance to shoot steel from? Is that the best way to? Is that the best way to
How about
categorize?
recharge from Congress?
I think
kind of broad.
I think it's politicians showing their pro 2A stance when they really don't have one.
Yeah, you're right. There was the
that.
other.
There's the other one.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
This idiot, and
we can
then
talk about that other one later. But
Fudd,
this one,
Governor Fudd.
Governor Fudd. But so Rick, what kind of dumb shittery did we just watch?
So, first off, this fucking guy spent 13 years in the Marine Corps. And that's sketchy. You did 13, why didn't you do 30? Or 20 at least, yeah. Anyway. So this guy is some fucking politician from Missouri of all places and decides that he's going to show everybody how he knows about guns because he's a fucking cool gun dude and I got a Glock. If you come in my house, I'm shooting you or whatever his bullshit theory is. So he invites a bunch of people out to his range, and he's got all this shit set up. So he sets up steel targets at the whopping distance of 10 yards. Now, 8 yards is the minimum distance you should shoot steel targets of any type with a handgun. Not a pistol caliber carbine, but a handgun. Mm-hmm. And realistically, about 25 yards is the closest you should shoot buckshot or birdshot on steel with a shotgun. And the recognized industry standard is no less than 50 yards if you're going to shoot any kind of rifle caliber cartridge or a pistol caliber through a 16-inch barrel. So John Q. Genius here decides he's going to show everybody what a badass he is, and he chicken wings his rifle out there and cranks off some rounds at 10 yards and hits the steel, and frag splashes back and hits a member of the Fourth Estate.
Yep.
Well, fortunately, they had a first aid kit. That's important. Well, first aid kit is important, but how about not do dumb shit that requires that you open your first aid kit in the first place? So, this coupled with this dipshit's statement previous about weapons of war, this is another one of those retards referring to an AR-15 as a weapon of war. So, Usa and namaste or whatever. Thank you, Lee, for jacking my blood pressure up. So I'm going to sit over here and grind my molars together. So go ahead, Jeremy. Why don't you chime in about this?
You know, I'm glad to see some of the medical advances that, we've developed in the last 20 years. But, the default to go to tourniquet for any sort of a bleeder.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
I mean, as somebody who's had pieces of steel pulled out of them a few times and a few copper jackets, like...
I'll put my belt on there. I'm going to improvise tourniquet.
Yeah, it's just... That part... Okay, yeah, you're right. Tourniquets aren't the taboo subject of the Civil War that they once were, but still not, oh, I got a headache. Put a tourniquet on it.
I mean, that might work for Joe. I'd recommend that one.
But that part got me. But I mean, yeah, shooting steel at 10. I mean, we've seen some other clowns in the area here that like shooting oversized steel targets from comically close distances to prove what a badass they are. But so keep doing that, and you too can have a belt around your arm here soon.
So I think the interesting thing is when we take Senator Kunce is there and we look at him in totality is this election cycle, he's doing a fundraising event at a range, a privately owned range, which in Missouri is probably somebody's backyard, which is okay.
I'm not throwing rocks at people for shooting in the backyard.
Which is okay. I'm just let's call it what it is, right? When you look at it, he was shooting in the woods, which is okay if that works for you. But let's go. You're doing this fundraiser, and you're shooting rifles at 10 yards on steel. But you follow on the heels of the last election cycle, he releases a campaign video that explicitly calls out people shouldn't have these kinds of guns.
Yep.
So you've gone now from, hey, we should get rid of these guns, to now going, I need to pull in at a private event because nobody else knows they're there other than the people that were invited there, that, hey, well, for you, I don't really have this tight of a stance. I'm following what the Democrats are telling me to say over here on this one, but in reality, maybe I'm doing something else. But what's he really doing, other than fragging reporters at 10 yards?
Well, he is
Right?
he is a new, not quite superhero called Hypocrite Man.
Well, and let's take this one further. In this previous one, he talks about his opponent, who was recklessly waving a gun at someone, or a group of people rather. Yeah. Which that guy was an idiot, but that's beside the point. Yeah. And what does he say? Hey, if you apologize, I'll give you a professional lesson from a qualified Marine.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
That's your people, right?
That's right.
I knew that was fucking coming.
That's his people. That's right.
See,
hey.
So for that alone, fuck that guy.
Exactly.
God damn it.
But again, hey, it goes back to and he went on to state at this event, when this happened, it was being overseen by a qualified NRA counselor. I'm not sure what an NRA counselor is.
Yeah, I have no idea what an NRA counselor is.
I remember seeing that course description on their website.
How do you feel? Let me give you a little counseling here. How does that make you feel when you get shot in the arm?
NRA life coach.
That's my next career.
NRA life coach, yeah. I feel like so you have a life coach out there. But again, this goes back to the whole, hey, be careful who you're voting for. Be careful who's giving you training. Because just because they said there's something, maybe they have you shooting steel at obscenely close distances, which you think is cool until you get fragged. Or you're like the guy that was standing next to him on the range shooting steel at 10 yards that had his iPro up on the top of his head. Well, so you don't be a dumbass.
You don't want the iPro getting in the way of your, 5 to 25 magnified optic for shooting at 10 yards either. Yeah. So,
I had a fucking 70 power Unerdal mounted up on that fucking thing, like the Hubble.
But I mean,
so
as the engineer in the group, there's different types of steel. You kind of mentioned it there in the beginning, but your steel that you're shooting with a 9mm at 10 yards, plenty safe and allowed. Is not the same steel as you're shooting with your 5.56 green or brown tip at 100.
Nope.
So, and we've seen that before where other instructors in the area have shot those pistol steel targets from comically close distances, and in some cases it punches right through. In other cases, back windows get shot out.
Yes. Well, and the other aspect to that is, and some folks don't recognize this, you should not shoot, in my opinion, Brunel AR-500 hardened rifle steel with your ball pistol ammo at 8 yards, because it's harder and you splash back harder. You need softer steel for pistol rounds, and if you've dimpled, especially if you've dimpled the shit out of that AR-500, 9mm come back. I think my personal best when I was working at Blackwater was 21 pieces of frag in a day. Chris Epperson took a .556 penetrator that bounced back and stuck in his sternum.
Oof.
Yeah, and then they of course it's them, so they tried to pull it out with a pair of needle nose, and it didn't work. So he finished the class. Kudos to Chris because he's a stud. Finishes the class, drives up to Chesapeake General, and they lidocained him, and then used a pair of pliers and pulled it out.
Bigger pliers than somebody somebody stood on his chest while doing it. Yeah.
Got a big fence post pull.
But again, when you come down to
That's
it, right?
'cause you know what you're talking about.
We've all been on the range, fragged with ball ammo, and right when pistol a 9mm round hits that steel, it disintegrates into a wonderful mist of small particles, and when you come back and get fragged, it's generally a sliver of copper, and right, and maybe it'll cut you, but it's a sliver of copper. But that's why we wear iPro, because it doesn't hurt. It might sting a little bit on the arm, but it's not the eyeball.
No.
Be bad in the eyeball.
Yeah, I've been hit in the lip.
But
that's painful.
yeah. No, I got hit
in the ear.
I've been hit in the ear.
But I've never been hit where I required a tourniquet.
This is true.
No.
Well, but the difference is you shoot that rifle, right? That's steel core at that distance. That round does not disintegrate. Right? You have a large mast coming back and hitting you.
Big tungsten nail.
Now, while the reporter was treated on scene by a unqualified medic, went to the hospital afterwards, and they further treated him. So, but we don't know to what extent.
So I would wonder if there was a report made
there was
for
a gunshot
injury as a result of gunshot.
No.
And I was wondering that when I saw the videos.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Someone could, if they so chose, could go
Sleuth it.
Go find the find the report on that.
Right.
So.
In either case, as Lee said, pay attention to who is talking about stuff, because just because they're talking doesn't mean they know what the fuck they're talking about.
Wear your PPE. Shoot at the appropriate distances. Get some training.
Most politicians don't know the first damn thing about guns.
Yeah, and when they say weapons of war, as soon as they say weapons of war, they probably don't really...
Stop listening.
Yeah, they probably don't understand what they're saying. Yeah.
Two worst things for guns: rust and politicians.
That's right.
Well,
because the weapons of war I used were Mark 19s and 50 cals. So, everything else, I mean, the 870 that I had, I don't really consider that a weapon of war. That was a weapon of intimidation.
yeah.
Well, that's a state tool of Virginia.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I'd just like to point out that I grew up middle class.
Was there grass in your front yard?
Yes, I shitload of grass in my front yard.
Was there a swamp
Because
in your
I had to
backyard?
mow it.
Was there a swamp in your backyard?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
How many cars in your yard moved? Did your house?
No.
No.
No, it's this house right here. That's where I pretty much grew up. Yeah, kind of middle class. Working class, really.
Alrighty. I think we've fragged this to fragness.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See what you did there. That's good.
So, hey, give us a like.
Yeah, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not some
All those
broke
things.
dick politician from Missouri.
Yeah.
Vote Lee Curley for anything in Emporia.
Oh, yeah. You'd be the governor of Emporia.
Ooh, not Emporia. Anywhere but Emporia.
Martinsville.
Alexandria.
Oh, no. Look,
I think
we're selling it. No,
I think you Trump had too.
if he becomes governor, I move we sell Alexandria to Maryland.
And re-annex West Virginia.
No, we really
Don't
like
go with that.
parts of Tennessee and Kentucky, but not really West Virginia.
Hey, we'll see you next week.
Be good to be safe.
Before these guys just drag us down into anything. West Virginia.
It was nice driving through it last weekend.
West Virginia, you know what?
It's pretty. There's some pretty space.
So West Virginia's new, well, a couple years ago, but their new slogan was all about tourism. Right? They were trying to rebrand themselves as the wild outdoors, and they've got a lot of that out there. Right?
Yeah.
So as the coal takes a hit, they could either industrialize and destroy their wilderness, or they could embrace wilderness life. So,
I think their official
Saudi Arabia is trying that too, but they got a few less mountains and trees.
I think West Virginia's new slogan for that was, "This is West Virginia. This is not where they filmed Deliverance."
Virginia is